Welcome to the practical session of this robotics chapter. Now, in this particular chapter, we will focus more on the practical side of how to interact with this robotics environment, starting with just familiarizing yourself with how do you create a new project, and just understanding a few details inside the particular platform like that. So what you're going to do here is that you click here where it says new project here. So when you click there, it's going to load us into a new project environment. Now when it loads us into a new project environment, what's going to happen here is that we will be able to actually create a new project, which is where we are here. Now when you're in this particular environment where we're about to create a new project, we just want to understand a few things before we can get started. So, in today's particular focus, we are going to look at alphabet. We're going to look at the alphabet. Alphabet. So, we'll be drawing letters from A to letter Z using a robot, using robot programming or coding. That's what we'll be doing. Now, before we can start, I just want us to familiarize ourselves with a few things. So to begin with, we say that this button, when you press it, it's a play button. It allows you to run play. What it does, it allows you to run your project. Okay. Now, the starting point of your program is here, where it says when play. So meaning when you click this button, the play button, when you click the play button, this is gonna run. That's what that means. So this is the starting point of your code. Now, the coding language that you're going to use here is referred to as code block. Code block. Now, this code block exists in two formats. Okay? We have one which is code plus word description based, and there's one that is just code block only. Now, examples of programming languages that stem out of this is something called Scratch is an example. So if you understand what you're going to do in this particular course, it will be easier for you to work with Scratch. Now let's continue. In this particular program, as you could see, let me just come here. We have this part here. So this part here is the event. Now what does the event do? The event, this is where you have commands that are in blue color, as you could see, and they are eventual, meaning they are based on time. So as you can see here, we have the when you do what, when you press that. So you can see when you press this, or when you press those bumpers there, we'll see in a minute when we interrogate our robot, or when you touch those sensor lines, meaning that when those lines are green, when you touch these particular two buttons on top there. So these are all commands. Sorry, let me just clear that up. Let me just clear that up in a second. Sorry. So what we're saying here is that these green commands here are commands that are time-based. So actually blue. So these blue commands here, up to that point, back like that. So these are all, eventual-based commands. Okay. Then we move on to the next commands, which are yellow in color. So the yellow commands are these commands here. So these are commands that allows you to take action. So these are commands that allows you to take action. So an example is that here, this command will allow you to move. This command will allow you to turn left. This will allow you to turn right. This will allow you to play music. So these are what these commands do. They are action-based commands. Then you have the setters. So setters basically set something. For instance, set the light on, set the marker down and up, set the wheel. So these are like that. Then we have the last one in level 1. So level 1 is quite simple. We have this particular command. Okay, so they are more of flow control. It controls they control the flow in that particular case. So they are responsible for controlling the flow. They are responsible for controlling the flow. Now when you move to the other one here, this is a delay or timer. So do you want to wait a bit before you continue doing some other things? So this is what these commands are. Now we'll see which kind of commands you are going to often use as we proceed to work with the robot and drawing the alphabet, because we are going to focus on drawing the alphabet. That as you move from A to Z, it will give you, the ability to play with this particular platform. So if I turn this around like that, okay, I want to move this guy somewhere here, and then I want to just move things a bit up and down in that particular manner. So when I'm here, you'd see, for instance, that we have those two buttons. Okay, we have these two buttons. Now, let me just get my marker there. We have these two buttons. So these two buttons that we have a button here. What's going on? Okay. Okay. It seems it wants to remain hanging there. So we have a button around here. So we have these two buttons. Okay. So these are buttons. Yeah. So they are buttons, and then on top here we have got lights. So for instance, this is a light, or we call them LEDs or LED. It's a light. It's a small lights. When we are young, actually, we used to call these as psychedelics. So they are young, LED bulbs or lights. Then these are also buttons, and along just at that black line there, they are what we call bumpers. So those are bumpers. This is a marker, and here it's a marker holder and the motor below there. So you can actually purchase this real robot and have it at your school, and then be able to play with it like that. You could write the code from this particular environment, and then you load it in this particular by simply connecting a USB to your computer, and then you'll be able to program it. So in a case where you have a physical robot, so you're going to have your physical robot here, ARA, then you're going to have a cable, just a USB cable, which you are going to feed in your computer. So then on your computer, this is where you're going to write these kind of codes that you'll be writing here. And when you write those codes, what you see that this robot will be able to draw A to Z. You can simply put it on a manila paper. It will be just sitting on a manila, and it will be doing the drawing and all those sorts of things. So you can actually purchase this robot. It's not actually even expensive to acquire it. It's less than a 2,000 kwacha. So it shouldn't be that much expensive and difficult to acquire. Thank you. So let's move to the next level. So if we click, if we click here, we'll move to level 2. So here we'll move to level 2. In a similar manner, level 2 has events: when program started, when any bumper is pressed, when scanned, when touched. So you see, all those are commands that when you have a physical robot, you can touch it. But even in this virtual environment, all these things can be achieved. When you move to these commands, we have action commands: move, turn, form an arc, reset navigation, navigate like this, play a tone, say hello. Then we move to setters. Setters would say set lights, it will say set the marker, set the wheel speed. Then we move to flow control. So flow control are these ones in blue. So the purpose of the flow control is to control the flow of the program. The purpose of the flow control is to control the flow of the program. That's the purpose of flow control. So purpose of flow control is to control the flow of the program. Okay? So the purpose of flow control. So let's say you have written your code, and you have got the piece of code A is running. Okay, piece of code B is running. Now, when B is running, and then the time is out or up for B to run, and you want B to give back the power to A, that is flow control there. You are controlling the flow from A to B, B to A, and all that. So if you see our flow control commands, we are saying that if true, so for instance, if it is true, continue running B. If it's false, which is else, do something else. You know, we have the while, you know, something is still true, keep doing it. Or while it's true, repeat. Wait for 1 second. What if it's more than 1 second? Do something. Comment, provide a comment, and many other things that could be achieved with that. Then we have got this one here. So that one will give us, you know, the math logic. Set a variable. Okay, so the variable here is my number, and we are setting my number to 0. So just like in mathematics, where we say that, we would say that x is equal to 7. Okay, this is a variable, and this is the value or the constant. Okay, so this is exactly what's happening. We are saying that the variable in this case is my number, and we are setting it to 0. Okay, so you'll be able to use all these things. So this is the basic way of being introduced to coding. And as a teacher, these are simple things that you could easily understand and just practice, and you're good to go. And then if we move forward, you realize that we have the logic. We have the logic. Now, under the logic, which is what you're seeing in this color here, starting from here, we have things like set variable logic to false or to true. That's binary. Okay, so we can either set x, for as long as we know, we can set x to 0 or 1. So x, if we say that bool, then we say x, it means x can either take 0 or 1 only, nothing else. And these will not be treated as integers. They will be treated as binaries, as binary numbers. So if you see on the logic, we can set logic to true or false. And then we can set not to false, we can set it to false and false. Okay, and many other variation of those logical values that we could use there. Now, if we go to level 3, which is the most advanced level in this particular environment, you would quickly realize that in level 3, it's now the actual programming in level 3. In level 3, it's actual programming. The programming that even engineers like myself, we use to build things on a day-to-day, kind of activities. So let's just get back to that. Let's just get back to this point. And then what you're going to see here is that when you're in level 3, what is going to happen here is that if we look at events, now we are coding, now we are writing the actual computer programs. So we move from level 1, level 2, level 3. The idea here is to acquaint you from basics to actual kind of coding that people do. So this will be quite interesting. It will be quite interesting. So in here, you would see that event robot.whenPlay. Now, we are looking at a whole different approach. So we are saying, for instance, we are saying at an event where robot dot when underscore play, okay, like that. So what you'd see from here is that this is the same thing that we had when we simply said things such as when play, or just a little box that showed a play symbol. It's doing the same thing with this. So this is exactly the same. This is exactly the same as when programs start. This symbol that you're seeing here is the same as this, okay? Which is the same as this symbol, is the same as that. Now, in these three levels, you are seeing that we are achieving what we learned earlier on as abstraction. Now, in abstraction, we say that we hide certain complexities just to focus on passing on the important information. So as you can see here, we have now this event when the robot dot when play. So this is now a bit advanced, forming that approach. Now this is Python that you are seeing here. This is Python. Now, as you could see, let me just rub it a bit here on top so that you have a clear view. So as you could be able to see here, you could actually be able to see that we'll have event at robot.whenPlay, and then we say async def run task robot. So this is a function that we are defining here. So we are actually defining a function, a normal Python function. So this is Python programming language now that we are using at this particular level. So you'd see also in a similar manner that we are going to have commands. So this would be commands like move, turn, arc, reset navigation, Playton. Very similar. Python is one of those simplest languages that anyone who wishes to learn to code can easily pick up and be good to go, because it's very close to human, language and all that. So these are some of those things that you'll be seeing, I'll be picking and interacting with as we go. See you in the next lesson as we learn how to draw letter A. So in the next lesson, as we learn to draw letter A, using this robot just here. So thank you so much, and see you next.